Hello, you eye sockets brimming with centipedes. Jim Sterling here, and this is The Surge. This is a Focus Interactive developed Soulslike. I think I agree with the use of that term. I'm not sure if there is any pushback to it, but I think From Software deserves credit for more or less creating a subgenre of action RPG. A type of action RPG with very distinct beats, and those distinct beats are the very same beats being hit by The Surge here. As I say, it's Focus Interactive, so if you've ever played any of the games they pick up, it's kind of a hit-and-miss, spotty affair. They make some decent stuff, they produce some decent stuff, some not-so-decent stuff. All of it with a very particular, loose feel to it. Oh, that was bad. This was my, I haven't even crafted a full set of armor yet. This is, like, really early in the game. If you're worried about spoilers or anything like that, don't worry. I show mostly just early game area, and the last bit of footage is the very first boss. I don't show beyond there. And as far as this game goes, like, it's alright. It's fucking Dark Souls with robot bits, more or less. But as far as Dark Souls knockoffs go, I've been enjoying it more than Lords of the Fallen, and I thought Lords of the Fallen was pretty decent. It's sloppy in terms of technical proficiency. The game has some... it's a Focus Interactive game, so it's got that going for it, you know. But it is fun. I'm very early days. I've been told it gets fucking hard, to the point of possibly being missed to the point of Dark Souls hard, which some of these games fall into. These robots, you're supposed to be dodging. That pulse of energy they're doing is if you get too close, because they're comfortable at range. If you get too close, they do this pulse and it takes all your energy away. The energy's the blue bar. So let's talk game mechanics briefly. If you play Dark Souls, you'll get the basics. You're using your triggers on a controller if you're using a controller to attack. Dodging. You can block, but it's really not advised in this game, at least so far. So far, I've not got anything that makes blocking anything other than a big chunk of your health going when you get hit. So dodging, very important. Right now the enemies are quite slow and telegraphing their attacks, although after the first boss I've already started encountering enemies that are a lot harder to predict and gauge. And these guys are pretty, easy. These are your robotic version of hollowed soldiers, like hollow thralls. Your basic bare bones starter enemies. So, you expect them to be a bit sluggish and slow. There are different weapon types. I'm using, at the moment, I think they're called splitters, but basically your big heavy weapons, and there are some dual-wieldy claw-type weapons, and this is a chainsword. This is your one-handed. But let's actually get back to these mechanics. So, top left corner, you got red, that's your health. Green, your stamina, obviously attack, sprinting, dodging, all take stamina. They handle stamina pretty well in this game. It comes back quickly, and it's used tactically, as it is in Souls games, so I'm okay with it. The blue bar, as you deal damage, you build up energy, which is the blue meter. When it reaches a certain threshold, you can perform finishing moves on enemies, after you've reduced their health, of course, and depending on which body part you target, you get a chance to, in a similar fashion to Monster Hunter, cut that body part off to get crafting materials to make weapons and gear and upgrades and such. You see here, I was targeting the arm, built up the energy, lopped the arm off. So those are your bare basics in terms of combat. The meter on the bottom left, that's your proficiency. The more you use a weapon, the more proficient you get with that weapon type. Any one-handed weapon now will keep the same proficiency, although the weapon itself will need its own upgrades and such. What else we got? Tech scrap, bottom right corner. That is your souls, basically. If you play Dark Souls, it's your experience, it's your currency. You need it for crafting, you need it for leveling up. If you die, you drop the tech scrap where you died. You have to go back and pick it up without dying again. And in this one, you also have a time limit, which can be a bit of an irritation, but, you know, that's their twist to make it even more of a challenge. So, yeah, as I say, I'm enjoying it. It's rough. It's rough and ready, you know? It's not quite as... Mind you, I was going to say it's not quite as tight as Dark Souls, but Dark Souls itself has always been a bit of a... You know, it's had a clunky feel to it. But even though its tactical elements are very sound and very tightly drawn together. So this is Dark Souls, but just a bit, you know, it's rough around the edges. When I said rougher, and then round as its own word. I just realised saying rough around the edges means I'm just saying it's rough around the edges. What I mean is it's rougher around the edges than Dark Souls. That's what I meant to say. Overcharging, you need to be a certain level. So I needed to be level 10. I'm clearly above level 10, so I could overcharge that, and that powers things up. It can open doors and stuff like that. You know, basic way to gate off certain areas until you're at a decent level. There's one door somewhere in the early starting area that you need to be like level 75 or something to open, so quite a ways off, you know. Really do like this game though. I've got a real. I didn't expect to. I was expecting some really shoddy Dark Souls rip that missed the point. And the first thing I heard about it was its difficulty, which again I'm only just starting to really feel. But very much like Dark Souls so far, it's you know, every time you first meet an enemy, you're gonna have a bit of a shit time. And then you get used to how it behaves. And hopefully it maintains that. This is just early days, of course. The game's not out yet, by the way. I'm playing the PS4 version. It's on all your systems. Not on the Switch, I shouldn't think. And, yeah. I will be doing a full review, of course. I'm not sure exactly when that will be. I got the game a little later than other reviewers. Simply because I wasn't sure about it. I really wasn't sure if I was going to cover it or not, because I've got so much work on, so many games I've got to get through, and I wasn't... When you work for yourself, even though I do have freelancers, like Conrad just did Flint Hook for us on the website. This is the first boss, by the way. What was I saying? Yeah, I've just got to be very careful about what games I choose to review and what ones I don't, just from a time management thing, because I can only pay people, you know, I can only pay so many people so many times before it just starts getting, you know, overly spending. So, and plus, of course, you know, people predominantly come to the Jimquisition.com for Jim's opinion. So I try and, you know, keep it to people who are within the Jimosphere, so that it's familiar to people, and still try and provide as many of my own personal reviews as possible, because it's, well, my site and my job. You know, so I will have a review of this up. It'll be a bit later than others. Hopefully it just maintains the same level of enjoyment that I've been getting from it. Oh, that was me picking up some lost scrap, because I did lose to this boss at first, because he wasn't doing this bit. In fact, right now I wasn't even sure what the fuck it was doing. But yeah, you hit the legs until it falls. You build up the orange meter by hitting it, and then eventually it'll fall over. But the first time I fought it, it wasn't falling. And I wasn't sure what the fuck I was doing wrong, and I got killed. But, came back to it, and it started playing nice. And, well, we eventually dealt with this little fucker. Might have another Prey video as well coming up soon. I respect... There isn't a respec option in Prey, but, you know, people did have a point when they said narratively the neuromods you installed in that game to upgrade do reset your memory when you pull them out. So I role-played respecing by just restarting the game. And that's a respec because I forgot everything and have to do the game again. I'm way past where I was now. And also did a lot more exploring, and I'm just having a much better time with it. Putting the neuro mods into engineer first and getting that repair up quick is, I mean, the game says play your way, but there are some ways that are distinctly better than others. That's been my experience with now more than one build. Whereas this, I don't know. There are different, I guess, builds. You can't really, at least so far, I've not seen much nuance with leveling up. It's more about what gear you want. This rig I'm wearing, the red armour all around the body, is the Lynx. You can also start with the Rhino, which is yellow, and that's slow and heavy. This one's quick and agile. And presumably there'll be a lot more of these rigs you can pick up, a lot more weapons. Like I said, it's early days, but it's been a really good start, and I hope it maintains. I'll keep you updated. But yeah, I mean, I've at least got several really fun hours out of the Surge so far, which is better than some games. It's a thumbs up so far. It's alright.